recording. Okay. Check my hair. Okay. So, hi. I got a warm up for us. I'm going to return all your exams. Nice work on these, by the way. Jesus, we had to kick ass. Like, seriously. How was the graph that I sent out? Was that helpful? The bar graph with the three-layer bar graph where it stacked all the parts. Did that make sense?
Yes.
I got a couple confused emails, not from y'all, from my Math 98 class. They're like, what the hell is this? I'm like, it's a bar graph. It shows the pieces. They're like, what's the red? I'm like, it's the part that says red down here. Read, y'all. But so it made sense to y'all what y'all were saying? Cool. I like graphs like that because when you pull them up, you can literally, actually, I'm gonna pull up real quick. Is that okay? Nobody said no. No, nobody said no. You had your chance to say no. Here you go. Pull it over here. Here's the progress report I sent out to y'all. What I love about a graph like this is you can literally see the median. Because I put them in order. Just walk to the halfway point. It's like right there. Yeah, it's so nice. It's so nice. I also love the fact that it's leaning so hard to the left. So many of those tall bars to the left. And I don't know, I just kind of like the color coding, the way it's got the individual pieces in there. Not the individual, but the three component pieces in there. So, remember, I'll say this too. I just snapped my glasses.
Oh my goodness.
You know what though? I prepared for such an emergency. Back up. And they're pink. These are the greatest. I went to the eye doctor years ago because I noticed that my eyes were starting to go after COVID. And he tried to sell me a pair of readers, and then he's like, you know what? I got a better idea. Go on Amazon. You can get like 5 pairs of these things for like $10. And they've lasted like 2 years. So you might need readers. Don't buy them at the drugstore. Buy them on Amazon. Anyway, you have rated A coupons. The 3 yellow ones. Remember, you can correct up to 15 points on anything with rainy day coupons. I gave them to you on the first day of class. Remember, there's blue ones, which are turn things in late. But then there are yellow ones, which is fix stuff and resubmit. And each one of those yellow ones is worth 5 points. You still got those tucked in your folder, right? Yeah, you do. Yeah, all you got to do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. So go back in and find. If you want to use them on the exam, that's great. I'm going to give them all. I got a pile of stuff to get back to you when we do the warm-up. But I wanted to make sure that we were happy with the homework first. So let's chat. Let's chat. I didn't want to pull a fast one on you, especially these top 4. They were just like literally from your notes from last time around. So everybody, take out your homework, unless you've already turned it in. You want yours back, Chance and Elena, and whoever at home, you want yours back too. We can take it. I think we already looked at it. I just want to buzz through it and make sure that we're happy with our answers. We're going to build on this today. I'll pull the homework up. Unless I have a copy. I don't think I have a copy. Get you sick. Good morning, Allie. School things, 105, new, normal homework. There we go. There it is. All right, so there's Vicini, morons. Remember Socrates, Aristotle, morons. Don't overthink this. If the average IQ is 100 with a standard deviation of 15, what percent of folks have IQ over 100? Don't overthink this. Say it again a little bit louder. I wasn't louder. 15? That was better. Here's your IQ scores. They're along this axis. Technically speaking, I guess the bottom IQ would be 0. If your brain age was 0, you could have an IQ of 0, I guess. Never heard it happen. And technically speaking, there's no maximum IQ. Your brain could test as like a 1,000-year-old person, whatever the hell that means. Yoda, I guess. But on average, you got an IQ of 100. That's right in the middle. And a bell curve is symmetric, which means how much of the curve is over here?
50.
Say it again.
50.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to friggin' hear. I should turn the camera. That's what I want to friggin' hear when I... Thank you, Katie. Yes, it will. I'll just keep yelling. So what percent have lower than average IQ? The other half. Right, it's cut literally in half. Literally in half. Cool?
Yeah.
All right. Now, next quote. Oh, it's up here. What percent of folks have an IQ between 85 and 115? And then I gave you, I tried to give a lot of hints in this, so that's why I rewrote it after last Monday, to add the hints back in. That's within one standard deviation of the mean. So, hundreds right here. But it's more useful because technically speaking, there are infinitely many numbers along this axis. I'm going to ask you a tricky question. Josiah, thank you for nodding along. I appreciate that. What's the next higher IQ up from 100? This is a trick question. Couldn't there be ones in between 100 and 101? Like 100 and a half? It really depends, because age is one of those continuum. It's not like, I know when we say, like, when you ask me how old I am, I tell you I'm 52 this year. But right now, I'm older than I was when I started saying this sentence. Because age is a continuum, right? I mean, right?
Yeah.
So there, technically speaking, are infinitely many numbers on this axis. So it makes more sense to talk about ranges of value. Like I just said, what people have an IQ above 100? Half of them. I'm not asking you, like, what's the IQ of someone? What percentage of people have an IQ of 102.13? Like, nobody talks about that. We talk about ranges of IQs. We're talking about ranges of weights here in a second, baby weights. So, a standard deviation is a convenient way. One standard deviation is the entire range, 15 down to 15 up. That's why it was 85 to 115. We'll draw it here to here. So I'm asking, who's in there? And this is what I gave you in the notes on that PowerPoint. What was it? I love it, Keely. So about 68%. About 60. I think in the notes I called it about 2/3, which is legit. 2/3 is 67%. 68% is 68% is actually technically closer to the truth. Anybody Google it? Yeah. Mariah.
Well, I did.
Good.
However, I went back to 67 because I was confused because you said 68 in the video, but our paper was both like 67.
Well,
Does it matter?
It says about, just FYI, it says about 2/3. No, it doesn't matter. Call it whatever, because I'm giving you a tool today that actually gets us 4 decimal digit precision. So don't worry, I'm not, it's totally fine. Don't you worry, girl. Hope you look nervous. Don't be nervous. So this is 67% or 68, whatever you put. 2/3, 68%, it's all legit. Like I said, I got a tool in Canvas waiting for us to learn today that gets us as much precision as we need. This was just a ballpark. It's about 2/3. 2 out of every 3 people have IQs between those 2 numbers. That's the way to think about it. That's kind of cool. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. Suppose we go out to 2 standard deviation. That's down to 70, and that's up to 1/3. Sorry about my bell curve. It doesn't look very bell. It's got a fat ass tail over here. I apologize. What percentage is that? That's the 95. That's the other one I gave you in the notes. So 95%. So that's 19 out of every 20 people. 19 out of every 20 people. That's 95% as a fraction. That's a lot of them. That means 1 out of 20 are either going to be below 70 or above 130. And we'll get back. I think I talked about this in the second video that you watched in Canvas about how to break up the curves even more. Let's stop right there. How do we feel about this? That's 2/3 or 68% here. About 95% here. That okay? Is that legit?
Yeah.
Okay, hope you don't look nervous anymore. It makes me happy. Okay. So then I had you watch a second video where I kind of broke up. I forget what I did in that second video. Do you remember what question I answered? Oh no, I did. What percent of people have IQs above 130? In the video, do you remember what the answer was?
2 and 5%.
It wasn't 5%, it was 2.5%. Why?
2.5 money.
That's it. Because we know that 95% lives here. Yes? That means, hello, Ashton. That means that in the remaining bits, which is this all the way out, if you remember I wrote on my chalkboard because it keeps going forever, and then this all the way down, that's the last 5%. But since the bell curve is balanced, that means the same amount has to be here as over here. So you take that 5% and cut it in half. 2.5 here, 2.5 here. Fair? Legit, hopefully? Good. 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 And all I wanted you to do for these lessons was just explain to me how you broke up the areas. What percent of folks have an IQ between 100 and 115? That's just here, yes? Now, you may have slightly different answers depending on what you had in number 3. I actually referenced that. I go back and look at your answer to number 3. So let me hear some answers. Allie, I heard you, I think.
I said 34.
Allie says 34%. Who likes Allie's 34%? Allie, explain. Actually, Mariah, explain yourself. Where'd 34% come from, bro?
Well, you know, you got 67 or 68.
Oh, no, come on.
Divided in half.
Yeah, you know this whole thing is the 68% or the 67%, whatever you called it. So that means this is half of that. Because these two pieces, I didn't draw them very well. I got a program to draw them much better. But these two pieces are going to be equal. Ha! Yes! You could also put 1/3 if you're feeling saucy. Since 2/3 are in here, and 1/3 and 1/3, but I don't think anybody feel that sauce? No sauce. It's okay. Sorry, I wasn't really saucy.
You asked for percent.
Oh, I did? Oh, shit. That's why I didn't put a friend. I asked you for a percent. Sorry. 1% between 70 and 85! What a bastard I am. What a bastard this was, wasn't it? No. Oh, million doesn't. No. Chance like, yeah, it was a bastard. Give me some numbers. I heard 13.5, 14%. I'm hearing very similar numbers, Elaine, like 14 or 13.5. Who wants to explain how the hell you got that? Speak up. Don't mix up the percentage like that without any kind of justification.
I did 95 minus 68 divided by 2.
Say that again.
95 minus 68 divided by 2.
So what Allie figured out is this area down here, that little area we have to find, is what's left over when you take this and this away from this. So you can start the whole thing at 95 and then trim off the pieces you don't need. So check this out. Y'all remember that this was about 68%, right? This was about 68%. So if I take the 95, that's the whole region here, and if I dump the 68% that's in here, that's going to leave those two pieces there. So that ends up being, what's that, 27%? So if those are 27, just that one is going to be half of that. Or the 13.5, or 14, or 13, whatever numbers you ended up. You're probably going to be off by maybe 0.5% depending on which numbers you used. I love it. Right, is that similar to what you did? Yeah. And Allie, I just realized, I think I did I do what you did? Yeah, I did, didn't I? You did 95 minus 68 divided by 2. That's what you did. Yeah. Did anybody do it slightly differently? You can. Did anybody do, or is that how everybody did it?
Yeah, a little bit different.
A little bit different. Let me hear it, Elena.
I did the dividing first. I did 47.5 minus 6.
You can do the dividing first. So in other words, you don't even have to ever use this half of the curve. Because if this is 95, this is half of 95. 47.5. And then you take away the 34 you got here, and you get the exact same thing. That's what's kind of cool. You'll get the exact same place because the math is the same that you're doing. Well done. Well done. Last! IQ below 115. Let's change the color here. I won't burn the walls here. That's a nice paint, and it's not my office. But that will go on forever. How dare I? How dare I? What'd you get? I hear 84%?
Yeah.
84%. I'm seeing a lot of nods. 84%. How could you possibly get 84% if that tail goes on forever? Because, Elena, because you know from your answer in number 2, half of the area is below average. So 50% is here all the way down. Ha! So that's half of it. Then all you gotta figure out is what area is here. But didn't you figure that out in number 5? That's 34%, yes? So you take that 34%, add it to 50, there's your 84%. So basically, 5 out of 6 people. I like thinking about terms in terms of fractions, but I know how y'all feel about fractions. One of those F words in math, besides the one you use when you're doing your homework. Is that a hunk? It was like the oral version of the F word. Well done. Yes? Maybe? Maybe? Mariah asked me that question. Oh, I thought you did. I saw your hand go. But guys, you're a very expressive face. You've got no poker. I'd play cards with you anytime. And I thought I saw your hand go up. Your face is like mine, and that's very expressive. Like, if your face changes, I loop right in on it. Amelia? I never play cards with Amelia. Never, ever play cards with Amelia. Or Allie, just because Allie scares me. All right. Okay? Let's try a warm-up. Similar. And then we're going to get into the goods today, which is a spreadsheet I built you in Sheets that keeps all these percentages in it for you, so you can just focus on the math of how to cut them up and get what you need. And that's what we're going to do today. So let me get you this. Spin this back. Those watching this video, I'm sorry, the editing is going to be minimal. And when I say minimal, I mean there won't be any. Okay, here's a warm-up. It's same bell curve. I actually used the computer-generated bell curve on the warm-up because I knew I can't draw for shit. Sorry about that. It's about baby weights. Newborns, American newborns. I think we mentioned this in class last time, but we didn't get very far into it, so I figured I'd revisit it. Plus, I found an old baby picture of myself, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to use. The yams on that kid. So you're going to take this information. American newborns have an average baby weight of 7.5 pounds. This is based on a source I was able to find, and it got cut off at the bottom there. I apologize. Standard deviation of about 1.3 pounds. These numbers vary a little bit depending on some kind of demographical information, but it's okay. We can use it for the purposes of our warm-up here. So I said, let's start by filling out the image below together. And let's do that, because I want to fill out the curve here. And I want to explain to you what the hell a z-score is. I want to put this screen up. We're going to draw right on the board. All right. Let's get that. There it is. Let's slide it. Let's move it over a little bit. Okay, let's close this one. Minimize that one. Minimize that. Okay. Up a little bit so you can see the space. We'll get back to z-scores in a second. We'll talk about what they mean. You already know what they mean. But, and I don't know why they're called z-scores, to be perfectly honest. They're called that in statistics. What baby weight is going to go right here in the middle of this curve?
7.5.
That was a good volume, I'm not going to lie. I don't have to ask to say it again, because I could hear it well. It's 7.5 pounds, yes? Why does that go there? Because it's the average. As I researched around trying to find baby weights, that's the average baby weight I found. 7.5 pounds. Love it! Okay. Now, what weight goes right here?
8.8.
Ray, say that louder.
8.8.
A little bit louder.
8.8.
Very good. Now tell me why.
Because a standard deviation is about 1.3 pounds.
Yes. So you're going to add that 1.3 to get the next step up, which is 8 point, and there's lots of weights in between those, right? 7.6, 7.7, 7.61, 9,999, 8, 2, 3. Weird. weird. I thought about y'all this weekend. I made a lot of bread this weekend. And as I was weighing things, I'm like, holy shit, look at the scale jumping around. I throw a little bit more dough, or a little bit more bread, or a little bit more salt onto the scale. It's amazing how it changes, and it changes that continuum. And I thought, I started making a math problem out of that, and I said, stop! You got baby weights. They got what they need. Ray, with that in mind, what would go here? Or anybody else for that. I don't pick on Ray.
6.2.
You said it again, Katie. Is that you? Whose voice was that? I didn't quite hear it.
6.2?
Was that you, Mariah?
Yeah.
Damn it! I yelled at Katie. Should be yelling at Mariah. But I love it because it's right. 6.2. How'd you get 6.2, Mariah?
I subtracted the 1.3.
Yeah, you did. Correct answer, so I'm a badass. But yes, that's correct. You subtracted the 1.3 from the average. Love it. So that right there is the range of one standard deviation. What percent? I don't think I asked this on the. I did not. What percent of babies are between 6.2 and 8.8 pounds? Don't overthink this. You know the answer.
2/3.
Oh, I love that. 67%, 68%, 2/3. A good sized chunk of them are between those weights. Good. It doesn't matter what the context is. If the data is bell curved, 68, 2/3 of them are going to be in one standard deviation. Love it. Let's go out to two standard deviations. 8.8. What's the next? Stop at two standard deviations.
10.1.
Thank you, Nicole. That's 10.1 pounds. How'd you get that 10.1, dear friend?
I added 1.
Another 1.3. And then Hope is already working on this one, aren't you, Hope? You're working on this one, aren't you? Yeah, you are. What's down here, my friend? Oh, I thought you already had it. I'm so sorry to pick on you.
4.9.
Oh, you did. You did. It's 4.9. How'd you get that, Hope?
You subtract
Subtract another 1.3. What percent of newborns are between 4.9 pounds and 10.1 pounds?
95.
That was quick. That was quick. 95%. Let's go out to three standard deviations just because I'm feeling saucy. And I put the 3's and the -3 on the. What's going to be up here?
11.4.
Oh my God. Thank you. Who's down here?
3 points.
And these are pounds, right? These are actually in pounds, baby weights. So what I want to talk about before I set you loose in the questions, 1, 2, and 3, is z-scores are just the statistical word for standard deviations. A z-score of 0 is just the statistical way of talking about the average. 0 away from the average. If you're 0 away, you're right there. +1 means you're up 1 standard deviation. +3 means you're up 3. And today, what we're going to spend a lot of time doing is looking at everything in between. Because you can be in between like 1 and 2, or 2 and 3, or 3 and 4. There's lots of stuff in between. That's where the good stuff happens, actually. Now, it just so happens, when I was telling my mom about this about a year ago, about redesigning the lab, or the section in Math 105, she said, you know, you were 10.1 pounds at birth. And I said, holy shit. How big was my sister? She said she was 11. I'm like, wow. Like, you believe in heaven, you're going. Jesus. 11 pounds. And Katie, you talked about your kids too, right? I remember you brought up your kids, didn't you?
Yeah, my
Yes.
son was 11 pounds.
11 pounds, yeah. Straight to heaven you are.
Yeah.
Straight to heaven. I tell you. Incredible. But what I want you to do is, first of all, tell me how many standard deviations above average was I, and you know what that answer is because we have it written on the board. And then tell me what percent of babies was I heavier than? And then you can try number 3. And as while you're doing 1, 2, and 3, I'll hand back some papers, and then we'll regroup. Yeah. Yeah, talk to each other. Please talk to each other. Chat. Of course. Chat.
I just did this in the napkin
Oh God, I did that. I got something better for you. I got a Christmas present for you. Hopefully your teacher lets you use it. I hope. I got a bad feeling they might not. But it's something it's funny. I just saw the old stat teacher from COCC at a memorial service yesterday for a buddy of mine. And the first thing I thought of was the time we got into a screaming match. Because she kept making her students use those, and I built a computer version of it that's way better. And she was convinced she was right, and I said, that's because you're a boomer. And you're always convinced you're right, because that's your generation. And I got hauled down to HR for that. I got my ass hauled down to HR for speaking the truth. I mean,
I was like, you realize it's 2010, right? And we don't need to use tables anymore because we have computers.
well, this is a skill you need to know. I'm like, you still make the kids walk to school too? Because, you know, cars are a new invention. Maybe we shouldn't use those either. While we're at it, you shouldn't use that cell phone you're typing on because, and I got called down to HR. I probably was okay, let's be honest. I'll get arrested at green as soon as I get from Tracy. I think I left the blanket in your product support. I didn't want this to be zeros. So we're good. We'll get it in for next week. Promise. Nance. G-O-C. Now, let's chat at break, real quick. No, I'm not. You did good. Okay, you're good. That's everything I understand. I love it. I was a porker. Freaking porker. Those yams on my forearm. My rolls have rolls.
Wait, how old are you in that?
Oh, God. Weeks. I love that I have a bell curve towel on my head. Though. It's kind of fun, huh? What's that?
You look like you're like 4 years old.
Oh, that's true. I a 4-year-old face.
Yeah, with
I went through a lot of trauma as a young man. It's indicative on my week-old yeah. I love it. Like you're 4 years old. You know, I'm this big. Little Yoda. Carrying all that past life trauma.
When I had my son, I ended up having a C-section.
Uh-huh.
And the surgeon took him out and was like, holy shit, this one's ready for kindergarten. Oh my God.
He's already shaven.
Yeah. He's big now too. He's already 5 foot.
I just saw the most, speaking of C-sections, the most aggravating. I've gotten off most social media in the past few months, but I stay on Threads to get my news. And a chiropractor decided to weigh in and talk about how C-sections are unnecessary and only humans necessitate C-sections. Again, thank you, Amelia, for already, and it was, I started the post and I'm like, let's just see what everybody else says. And he was getting properly flambéed by everybody who understands medicine.
I would have died.
Exactly, and that's the thing. He's like, if you're pregnant, your body will know what to do. I'm like, sometimes your body will just die.
And my body almost killed me.
And you're a man. And you're a man. I love that. It's always the dudes that have to weigh in on that opinion, right? I apologize for every guy. I really do. I was raised by a single mom, so I've got a lot of faith in female parenting. And every time I read something, I know it's a biased thing. I mean, it's just this idiot that decided to post to Threads. There are plenty of guys flambasting him too, which was good. I think it's made up a word. Flambased. That's to flambe and to baste. Oh, that's good. We should. Oh, that's a good sound. Yes? All right, don't overthink these. Don't overthink. Let's chat. Let's chat. How many standard deviations above average was I, y'all?
2.
I was 2, right? I mean, I'm 10.1 pounds, so I'm up here. Yes? I'm up here, so I'm 2 standard deviations above average. If I were below average, I'd be down here, and that'd be a -2. That just means below. All negative z-scores means is below average. But I was definitely not below average. I was most definitely friggin' above average by quite a bit. Next question's kind of a fun one. What percent of babies was I heavier than? What'd you put? I hear 97.5. That's okay. I hear 97.5. 97. Who's like, where the hell did that number come from? Good. Thank you. Thank you. Where the hell did that number come from? Okay, so I'm here. That's Sean, right there. Yes? I am heavier than all of the babies below me. So that means I'm heavier than all of these. Heavier than all of them. The only ones I'm not heavier than are these out here.
And it's perfect to take.
So give me some solution methods. Let's hear how, those of you that got 97.5, tell me how you did, please. Let me hear some ideas.
50 plus 47.5.
47.5, Elena, where the hell did 47.5 come from?
95.
So check this out. What Elena's doing in her head, and I'm gonna mark this graph up and then take it away. What she's doing in her head is she's saying, okay, so Sean, what the hell that was? I know if I stop the area here, if I ignore that, what area is that right there?
90.
That's 95%, is it not? That's not, 2 standard deviations is 95%. And from our discussion in the homework, we also talked about the area in the tails of that 95%, didn't we?
So plus 2.5.
You say that again.
Plus 2.5.
A little bit louder, Nicole.
Plus 2.5.
That was that. When I say a little bit louder, that ray are the volumes I'm talking about. I want to hear an exponential increase. We'll start talking about that next week too. So yeah, so this is 95% right here. That means these other two tails are the last 5%. But that can be cut in even pieces, 2.5, 2.5. So I am definitely heavier than these kiddos over here.
Yeah.
But I'm not heavier than these kiddos up here. So there's my dividing line. So I'm heavier than that 95% plus that little tiny 2.5% at the bottom. That gives us 97.5%. Who did it similarly when you did that one? Oh, Ray, you did it differently.
Yeah.
Let's hear your different way. I love this. Because there's always going to be more than one way to do these.
Well, since I knew that that was 95, I
Yes.
just added it to the 2.5 and then subtracted it to get, or like I knew that was 2.5 essentially.
Oh, you kind of carried that 2.5 forward. You didn't have to go through all the dividing by 2 bit.
Yeah.
Totally fine. And actually, the way I just did it is actually different than Elena did it. Because the way Elena expressed it was a slightly different way. She started with the 95%, cut it in half, called this part 47.5, and then everything down here is 50. Because half is below average, which is also 90. I just realized I explained it differently than you explained it, Elaine. I apologize. I misrepresented you. But that's the best part, is you could do it both ways. Anybody do it a third way? Those are the 2 ways I can think of. We can make it as hard as we want. I think those are the 2 easiest ways to kind of look at it. I think. Oh, almost on your mind right now.
Oh, I just added 2.5.
Oh, totally fine. You're like, that 2.5, that 2.5, just FYI. This 95% right here, remember that 95% confidence you kept reading about in the margin of error stuff? Whenever we went to a poll, 95% confidence, 95% confidence. It's totally tied to this. And if you take 243 with me, if I haven't completely scared you off of mathematics completely, we're going to take a super deep dive into that 95% confidence, how it ties to this bell curve, and how those statistics are actually created and then margin of error later. That's why I sent you out that request on Friday. Listen to these 2 song mixes and tell me your favorite. Thank you for all of you who I haven't responded. I just saw a bazillion of you responded. Thank you for that, by the way. I'll respond to each one of you and I'll give you 2 points on your exams for doing that. But that data can be turned into do people like the one mix better than the other with 95% confidence? And we actually used that to decide which mix to use on our record when we finally pressed it. So it's actually cool. Like the band was like, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna go get a beer. And I'm like, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna turn this into a math problem and we're gonna figure out which mix we should use based on people's opinions. And somebody, the producer, was like, do you really think you need to ask people? I think we know better as musicians. I'm like, yeah, but they're the ones buying the record. They're the ones that are gonna like be the end consumer. Let's listen to them instead of your arrogant opinion. Yeah, Chance.
Yeah, which one?
I don't want to say anything because not everybody's voted yet.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense? I want it to be,
You said by like the 21st?
yeah, by Friday. That way I can actually get the question written and on the take-home part of the exam. I haven't decided if we're going to use it in 105. We're going to use it in 243 for sure. I'm still working on 105 and how I can use it for 105. Although I just found an awesome thing about the inflation of a carton of eggs that I think I want to use with us instead. Because everybody's complaining about the cost of eggs right now, yeah? Yeah, I just found some really cool data on like 20, 30, 40 years of egg prices that I want to, yeah. So I might use that instead. So anyway, we'll see. Cool? Okay, now this literally happened in class a few years back. I'll never forget this. I forget her name, unfortunately. But I remember I was teaching in Library 117 at Ben campus, and she told me she weighed 2.3 pounds at birth. And I had to stop, and I'm like, Is that even, that's a Nalgene bottle of water. Like literally, if you have a quart bottle, that bottle filled with water, Nicole, is heavier than that student was at birth. Water weighs 8 pounds a gallon. So a quart of water is 2 pounds. If you add to it the weight of the bottle, that's more than 2.3 pounds. That's mind-boggling. I had to stop and just like think about that. Like, that's incredible. But of course, she's also standing in my classroom talking to me. So she's a miracle. So I was super pumped about that. I'm like, now I gotta make a math problem out of it. So how many standard deviations below average was she? I hear 4. I don't see it on this. Wait, where the hell is it? I don't see 4. Just keep going. You can go as far as you want. Go down another 1.3 from 3.6, and what do you get? And that would be a -4 z-score. Now, eventually that's going to bottom out and you're going to hit 0. But realistically, bell curves go on forever. You can go as far as you need to go. Many data sets do not go forever. They stop at 0. I just did a problem in stat. You ever watch the show Cutthroat Kitchen? Have you ever watched Cutthroat Kitchen? I was actually going to turn it into a problem for y'all, but I realized it's better for stats. They were pissed off because they're like, I'm doing this outlier identification method, I'm getting negative dollar amounts. I'm like, that's because you're using an outlier identification method on the theoretical curve that goes forever, but in reality, you can't have negative dollars on that show. It stops at 0. Lots of data sets stop at 0, but don't have a top. So, cool? We buying this? All right. Question before we move on. I'm going to hand you some notes here. Who needs a laptop today? I'm going to go run and grab some. Awesome. I'm going to grab like 5 or 6 just to make sure. Let me get some notes out. And then I'm going to run and get some computers because we're going to want to have, go ahead, get logged on, grab your notes, get logged on, get into Canvas, and get logged into your Google account. Lots of logins today. And considering how my day's going with logins, it might take us a few minutes to get logged in, everything we need to get logged into. You ever think about how much of your life you spend logging and putting passwords in nowadays?
You can tell them.
I miss the 90s so much. What's that?
I'm not watching.
Because it's called a computer, we can't. It always asks me, it's like, does anyone else use this computer? I'm like, yeah, everybody else uses this computer.
Oh my gosh.
And you're assuming that COCC, did I give you all enough notes to go down? I just realized I was talking to Amelia when I was counting. That's usually a bad idea.
Yeah.
Did I give you enough? Okay. If you need more than right here, let me grab some laptop.
That's funny, okay. We'll put this back.
That's first. I mean, that's President Dubois, not the US.
Oh, I was like, where is she? It's not here. It's your car.
Just got my study guide for the final exam for microbiology, and it's 11 pages long.
So your stuff.
The study.
Great for you.
Which
All right, who needs a laptop?
but I was like,
So I get logged in. These things sometimes take a little while to boot up. Who else? I got you, Matt. I got you, Katie. Oh, I got you, Al. You're welcome. I'm glad your family listened to the music.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it.
My son's like, wait, play that other one.
Play that again.
Wait, go back to the other one.
Who else thinks fun? Anybody? Oh, cheers. Put this up here. Okay, let's get some tech squared away. I'm gonna lower the screen. Okay, let's get into 105. In Canvas, this is where I stored the sheet. Let me view it as a student to make sure everything looks good. Sometimes I forget to do this and I apologize. I think we're in week 7. We are. Yes. So hopefully these are the videos you watched. Did I tell you I got a comment on one of those videos that said, I don't know why I got recommended to this channel, but it's so good to see somebody stoked about math. On one of those 2 videos. It was the cute, my heart just swelled. And I'm like, oh, dude. And then some other guy in another video yelled at me. You didn't explain this well. I'm like, I'll give you your money back. It's YouTube, dude. You'll find another one you'll like. Anyway, so hopefully those are helpful. Go ahead and grab this one right here. This is what we're going to play with today. Yes. Normal distribution, i.e. bell curve calculator. It's going to ask you to log into your Google Sheets if you didn't already log in. I know, thrilling, absolutely thrilling. Absolutely thrilling. That was a good yawn, whoever that was. That was a good one.
It wasn't mine, but I wish it was.
I tell you, never ever hold back on those in here. Oh, it's you, Allie? I love it. No, I'm respecting that yawn.
It's a compliment.
I am not. All right. So what this lets you do is, it lets you put in any number of standard deviations you want, and then it tells you the area between them. So you don't have to memorize whether it's 68% or about 2/3 or, Mariah, I'm not yelling at you, drink your coffee, I don't want to put it out your nose. I'm just saying, my point is that I don't want you having to use your mental real estate to keep track of those percentages. It's going to tell you what it is. And if you need, not that you would ever probably need this, but you can get as much precision as you need by adding decimals down here. Now, I honestly have never seen anybody use more than 1 or 2 decimals of precision. It's probably enough. That's why when you Googled it, you saw 68%, right? You saw 68%, because that rounded off is 68%. I have a hard time with that kind of stuff, which is why I always say about 2/3. I did not mean to upset Mariah as much as I did earlier, though. Because you were like, you said about 2/3, but the web says 68%. And I should have made it clear that the emphasis is on about. It's about. Because neither of those numbers is 100% correct. Because, trick question, what's the next number up from 1? Don't answer that! Because you can't, can you? You can't. It's an infinitude of a number line. So the best you can do is find the areas between numbers. And the command that's doing it, if you're interested, you can poke around and break the sheet if you want to. The command is right here, this norms dist. That's the command. It actually has the equation. I actually had an idea today to come in and show you the derivation of where the area comes from. And I started sitting, yeah, exactly. You just puke in your mouth a little bit, Hope, because that's what I thought you all would do when I started doing that. If anybody's interested, let me know. I'll create a video and send it to you. About like the mathematics of the bell curve. It's super fascinating. But then, oh, thank you, Nicole. Oh, the sun's out today. Holy shit. When's the last time that happened? Yeah, ish. Josiah, you okay? Okay, everybody else is okay? Nancy, you're okay. You get blind. Okay. All right, so first bit of the notes asks, let's go my notes. Here they are. Number 1. About 2/3 of the data was in 1 standard deviation. What does the sheet say? 68.27%. There you go. There you go. Or 68% if you feel like rounding it off. How about 2 standard deviations, y'all? Try number 2. You try numbers 1 through 5, then we'll regroup. Ha! Have some fun with the sheet. Give me a hand up if you can't get the sheet to work on your machine. Let me wander around and help you in case it's not working. Because if it doesn't work, today's gonna suck. Some of you are thinking, it already sucks even though it is working. Chance, what's up, baby? It's not working?
Yeah,
Uh-oh. Well, you haven't logged in yet.
right, that's what's not working.
That I can't help you. You can use mine if you want. Don't worry about logging in later.
Okay, I'll try to log
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. I don't know how to log you in. And since Prineville doesn't have an IT person on staff, well, actually, I am the IT person on staff, and I suck with logins. Your projector's broken, I can fix it. Your Google Sheet's broken, I can probably fix it. You can't log in, you're SOL.
in. It is a problem with the domain though.
Say it again.
It is a problem with the domain, because I know my password's right.
Oh! Oh, here. Oh, can you get into your Google account? Or is that the one you're having a hard time? You having a hard time getting into COCC or Google?
CSC.
Get into your Google account, and what I can do is I can email you a link to the sheet to your Gmail account. How's that sound?
Sure.
Ha! See? Figure this shit out. Share. Copy, editor, anyone with a link, let's make you an editor. No, I don't want to do that actually. I do not want to do that because then whatever you do on the sheet will show up here. I want to open it again and send this to you. And Chance, give me your email, your Gmail account.
It's not letting me send it to that one anyway. It's telling me the same thing.
Computer. I wonder if it's the laptop that